Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. You know, so many people are looking for jobs and everybody tries to find a niche, a specialty, or something where they feel most comfortable to do. And especially when it comes to security, that they'll specifically look for a job that they feel they will last there and they'll have some sense of security. So I would like to touch upon two dinim in Shulchan Aruch where it talks about the loyalty and the responsibility from a worker and from a balabas, from the owner. And we'll start with, first of all, the Alter Rebbe says in Hilchos Shailo Schirus Chemisa Sif Chaf. So the Alter Rebbe says we know that the balabas has to treat his workers as all different halachas, how he has to treat them fairly and nicely, etc. But the worker has to take his job very serious, with strong responsibility. And it says that just as much as we have these halachas stating that the balabayis has to be careful to pay the worker on time, etc., etc., ha'ani muzar shelo yuvatel memlechas balabayis. The worker also has to be careful not to nibble away and waste time from the work that he's getting paid to do. He has a responsibility, a chiyuv, to be accurate in time. And he brings different proofs. And then the Alter Rebbe says, a person is paid to do a job, he has to work with all his koyach. Sharei Yaakov hatzadik Amar, as Yaakov responds to Lavan, and he says, Ki b'chol koichi avarti es avichem. I really worked hard. I put my life and soul, my heart and soul into this. And that's the way the responsibility, someone pays you to do a job, you got to really do it with heart and soul. And you can't just be easy on time. Now that's, from one hand we see there's the loyalty and there's the point that I'm getting paid, so I have to really work. But then the Alter Rebbe says sometimes it becomes too much of a loyalty, which borderlines a different problem. And that is, in Sif Chaf Aleph, the Alter Rebbe discusses halacha that I don't know how common you hear people speaking about it. One of the catches that people are looking for is if you're able to be hired for a 10-year contract, a 5-year contract, a lifetime contract, the more security you have, the more it will appease you, the more it will attract you to accept this job. And the question is a lifetime contract, a long-term contract, a good thing? And you think, yes, obviously, there is security. But if there really is a strong sense of loyalty from a worker towards the balabas, that I'm responsible, I have to work, b'chol koichi, it's borderline a form of avdus, of slavery. And we know that a yid is never allowed to become a slave, unless chas v'sholom, there's a situation with his mamish, no money, etc. But li b'nei Yisrael avodim, Hashem says, you are my slave. You can't become a slave to another human being. And if you're right, or you're meshabed yourself for a long-term contract, and there's no loopholes around there how you can't break the contract, you're an eved. That sounds funny, but I'll read you the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, again, Hilchos Shailo Schirus V'chasima, Hilchos Shailo Schirus V'chasima, Sif Chaf Aleph. The Alter Rebbe says, Payel ha'eved l'balabayis. If somebody's working for a individual, I don't care how he's getting paid, if he's getting paid for the job or he's getting paid per day, because we don't want to create a form of total devotion, total given over, and you lose your own identity. So says the Alter Rebbe, afilu kvar kibel kol schara, even if the man paid you already, we have to allow this person to have some own freedom. And if he doesn't like what's being done, he has right to quit. Even in the middle of the job, he's able to quit as long as there is no money loss. But if there is no money loss, we cannot take a person's freedom and chop it down. So a person always has the right, this freedom, to be able to quit. Then the Alter Rebbe says why? Because the Torah says, Kili b'nei Yisrael avadim, the Yidden are slaves for me, avodai heim, v'lo avadim la'avadim. What is the definition of avadim la'avadim? Sheyashabdu, shalei b'rtzoinam, that a person will be forced to work against his will because he's nebach in it because of a contract. Machmaschar shekvar niskuru, or the fact that he already got paid, so nebach he has to do it by force. That's a eved, and we don't allow. Torah does not allow a eved. Comes the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe says, V'lachein yesh mi she'omer, and therefore there is an opinion that says that if you're about to sign a contract, you found yourself a lucky job, she'ein lipayel, no worker, or malamed, or no teacher, or any position should sign himself away to be in one place more than 3 years. The contract should not be a longer contract than 3 years. And the Alter Rebbe proves, because up to 3 years, you're called a worker, a sachir. From there on, we have a raya from a pasuk that from there on, you're dedicating your life too long to an individual, and it's borderline eved. Rahman al-Aslan, in bad situations, the Alter Rebbe says there's a loophole. But typically, if you're looking for a job and you need a parnasa and you have choices, not necessarily the long-term contract is good for you because it loses your freedom to do what you really, really want. And the Eibishter says that the only one you have to listen to always and forever is for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shikoyach, and please join us again next week.